Rifle, Colorado, living up to its name, causing a little controversy here at the same time. That's because a local restaurant, Shooter's Grill, encourages its employees and patrons to pack heat. Waitresses serve you up a burger while their loaded handgun is on the hip. $75, the restaurant will train you to qualify for a state concealed weapon permit. Unusual, you may say. This is all completely legal. 44 states, including Colorado, allow residents to cart their guns out in the open. In 14 of those states, you don't even need a permit to openly carry a firearm. So let me bring in now from Shooter's Grill, the restaurant's co-owner, Lauren Boebert. Ma'am, thank you so much for being here. And you know what, was this just a matter of promotion? Was this a good promotional tool for you guys? And it seems to have worked pretty well, if it was.
No, sir, it was not. This was actually just my personal decision to start open carrying in my restaurant. My husband and I own this place, and he's out of state right now, and I miss him a bunch. I hope he's watching. Anyhow, it was my personal decision to start open carrying, and when I learned the state laws that you did not need a permit to open carry, I began to open carry immediately, and since then I have applied for my concealed permit, but my waitresses, they just began to approach me and ask if they could open carry in the restaurant as well. And the ones that did approach me, they had already gone through training, they had already had permits, and I welcomed that. I said, yes, you may. And now that any waitress that does come in, they must go through training before they're allowed to open carry in the restaurant. While it's not a state law that they have to, it's my law.
All right, well, ma'am, you know you can. Please, everybody out there needs to understand this is perfectly legal. It's perfectly legal in most states, frankly. You can do it, but why do it? Why did you want to start open carrying at your restaurant?
Well, I was here before the sun came up, and I was here after the sun came down. A lot of times I was alone, and it just makes me feel a little bit more safe to have that extra security. Not that we live in a dangerous town or anything, but you don't know what's going to happen and when, and so it was just nice to have that extra security.
What about the rest of the women in your, I say women, but all waiters in your restaurant? I guess walking around during the day, it's one thing to have it if you're there late at night or early in the day, but when you have customers all around, when you have another 6 or so waitresses with all that heat, if you will, armed weapons, I guess where is the security concern during the day?
Well, you don't know when something's going to happen, and we're not expecting anything to happen. I mean, we do live in a blessed community, and I'm not expecting any sort of attack. I've mentioned before we have fire extinguishers, and I'm not expecting a fire. I've had people come and say to me, you know, if I owned a gun, I would only carry it when I needed it. And I said, well, maybe you know something I don't know, because I don't know when something's going to happen. I don't know if there would be an attack. So maybe there's something I'm missing out on here.
The rest of, I guess, what's the reaction? And you know, it gives, because a lot of people in the country, frankly, can't relate. And it intimidates people to see. We don't see it that often. We see it, but we don't see it that often. It's not so common to see just a citizen walking down the street with a weapon on their hip. So I guess, what is your message to those folks, and even maybe a lot of little kids who might come in? A lot of people just find it scary and intimidating.
Yes, sir. I'm actually learning that it's not so common around the rest of America. Like you know, we live in a small town here, and it is very common. And most of the children here, they're raised around it. They're raised to know the do's and don'ts. My children, they're being raised to properly use a firearm, so there would be no mistakes. There's no excuse for anyone to own or possess a firearm ignorantly.
One other thing here, you encourage other people to come in. You say, hey, keep your weapons holstered if they come in. You have a sign out that actually says this, and you actually tell them in such cases that you have to bring it out. Judicious marksmanship is appreciated. Now, I know that's kind of tongue-in-cheek there, but do you have any concerns that other folks who come into if they have their guns on them, come into the restaurant, that maybe they don't have good marksmanship? Maybe they aren't as trained. Are you concerned about everybody else's level of common sense when they have their loaded weapon on them as well?
Yes, sir. I don't know everyone's level of common sense or their marksmanship. I just trust that they are good, law-abiding citizens, and they have gone through proper training, and that they have been raised to properly use a firearm.
All right, Lauren Boebert, again, it's gotten a lot of attention out there. Shooter's Grill, but I think we have appreciated at least being able to tell the story and alert people to what's going on and laws they might not know about. So thank you so much for your time out there. I know we'll talk to you again.
Yes, thank you. God bless you. God bless America.
All right, we're about 3 minutes up.